I invite you into the candlelit corridors of imperial Rome, where power was theatre and passion was often more dangerous than war. Hidden behind the grandeur of Roman architecture and marble columns lies a story few dare to tell. It's a tale of forbidden romance, scandalous whispers, and a powerful woman who risked everything for a love she was never meant to have. The woman was Julia, daughter of the mighty Augustus Caesar, the first emperor of Rome. To the public, Julia was a symbol of virtue and political elegance. Groomed from birth to carry the imperial name with dignity, her every movement was watched, her every alliance carefully arranged. But behind the polished facade was a woman of intense passion, intelligence, and longing, someone unwilling to be merely a pawn in Rome's games of succession. Augustus had great plans for her. He arranged her marriages not for love, but to secure loyalty and power. First to her cousin Marcellus, then to his trusted general Agrippa, and finally to Tiberius, his reluctant stepson. These unions were contracts, nothing more. And while Julia fulfilled her imperial duties with grace, her heart remained untouched. But Rome's most carefully guarded secrets don't stay buried forever. Beneath the polished surface of her public role, Julia kindled an affair that would threaten to unravel everything her father had built. Her lover, a man named Iulus Antonius, son of Mark Antony and stepson to Augustus himself, the very bloodline Augustus had once crushed, was now tangled with his own through love. It was more than passion, it was defiance. The full story behind this might surprise you. Iulus was everything Julia's arranged husbands were not. Poetic, charismatic, emotionally present. He saw her not as an empress's daughter, but as a woman with fire in her spirit. They met in secret villas, exchanged verses steeped in double meaning, and wove a relationship that whispered rebellion into Rome's very heart. At first, the affair was merely scandalous, but soon it became dangerous. Roman society tolerated many things: conquest, decadence, and corruption, but not the idea that a woman of Julia's rank could choose love over duty. Whispers of infidelity reached the Senate. Rumors ignited like dry parchment, fanned by political enemies eager to see Augustus weakened from within. Some claimed that Julia, through her relationship with Iulus, was plotting to place him on the throne. Others whispered that their romance had become a hub for dissent, gathering exiled allies of Antony and opposing factions beneath the veil of sensual gatherings. Augustus, humiliated and furious, could no longer pretend ignorance. A woman who had been sculpted as the moral face of the empire had become its greatest embarrassment. And worse, this wasn't just a private betrayal. It was political treason wrapped in the scent of jasmine and midnight meetings. What followed would be swift, brutal, and irreversible. And exile was the fate Augustus chose for his only daughter. No trial, no public defense, just a quiet decree that sent Julia away from the heart of Rome to a desolate island off the Italian coast. The woman once adored by poets, sculpted into the image of Roman virtue, was now erased from public life, her name rarely spoken, her legacy nearly destroyed. As for Iulus Antonius, his fate was far more severe. While Julia lived, cast aside and disgraced, Iulus was accused of treason and condemned to death. Some sources claim he took his own life before execution could be carried out. Others say he was quietly executed under imperial order. Regardless, his name, once echoing in poetry and salons, was scrubbed from Roman memory. A love that had blossomed in stolen verses and secret embraces ended in blood and silence. But was this truly justice? Or was it fear? Augustus had spent decades sculpting the image of a new Rome, one of order, discipline, and traditional values. Julia's affair didn't just offend his moral standards, it exposed a weakness in his carefully crafted empire, a reminder that power cannot suppress desire forever, that even the most tightly controlled dynasties are vulnerable to the human heart. What makes this story so haunting is how meticulously it was erased. Official histories downplayed Julia's fall, and Iulus was buried in silence. But fragments survived, letters, poetry, and records whispered between generations. These remnants, like broken marble statues, still hint at a once passionate connection that threatened the Roman world from within. And yet, in exile, Julia never recanted. Historical sources describe her as proud, reflective, even serene in isolation. She reportedly said, when asked about her fall from grace, "I bear all this because I am the daughter of Augustus." But perhaps she bore it because, for once in her life, she chose something for herself. Today, when we think of forbidden love, we imagine youthful passion or tragic endings. But Julia's story reminds us that forbidden love, especially in the corridors of power, is rarely just personal. It's political, it's dangerous, and sometimes it's revolutionary. So the next time we admire the grandeur of ancient Rome, the temples, the forums, the imperial marble, let us also remember the quiet corners where love dared to bloom, the affairs whispered between shadows, and the empires they quietly threatened to bring down, because sometimes the most powerful revolutions in history didn't begin with armies, but with a kiss no one was supposed to see.